Hip hop started in the South Bronx with young black men using the art form of the spoken word to transmit knowledge in a beautiful way of rhyme.
That's right.
And they were making money out of the trunk of their cars selling their records. Public Enemy was not produced by mass recording studios, KRS-One and all those conscious rappers. Then the money lenders and the corruptors came. They saw money, but they also saw if this rap continued in consciousness, the whole nation of black people would be awakened, particularly the youth. They know that our young people are the strongest generation that we have ever produced, so they must break the youth from the elder and then corrupt the youth.
Now, Minister Farrakhan has taken many years and dedicated his time to teaching black people about who they are, how they came into existence, and their true value in the world today. Many times we've seen a lot of history, especially that which is written by the white man, that is misleading about African achievements and African realities. And many scholars have also said that since history has emotions in it, there is no way somebody who has never experienced this history can write your history and tell you a story about your history. In today's video, I want us to focus on this clip by Minister Louis Farrakhan, teaching blacks about the need to understand who they are and calling out those who think blacks are the problem. Let's watch this video, then come back and share our thoughts together.
You can't see the storm clouds gathering. You can't hear the clap of thunder. You can't see the striking of the lightning of the end of a world because Satan has made some dumb devil so he could keep on ruling the world with evil. I'm almost finished.
Come on now. Keep on teaching.
Now you got the hip huggers on, baby. They don't make them no more to cover the hip. It's right on the top of the buns. Your underwear is in full view. And some of the sisters have lost so much shame. You don't care if men see your underwear. You want them to see it. Take a look at this. How does this grab you, baby? What is all of that for? You're drawing attention to your form, to the beauty of who you are as a woman physically. But a man never gets acquainted with the beauty of who you are intellectually and spiritually because he saw your behind and he saw your breasts, and that's what he wants. He does not know nothing about who you are, and he don't care.
Hey.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, where there are no decent women, there are no decent men. For the woman is the mother of civilization. Dumb devils, wise Satan. He's reduced our women to temptresses, knowing or unknowing. You watch a football game, which is a rough game. Men like football. Well, I can't speak for men. I speak for myself. I like to watch a good football game. I like to watch basketball. I'm a sports enthusiast. But then there's the sisters. When there's a break, here she comes. I said, what the hell is that? I come to look at a basketball game and I got to look at her. I go to see a prize fight and here she come in the middle of the round. As though I need to see that to know it's the 5th round coming up. You allow Satan to drop you down to a thing, not the creature that God created. You are a thing to be used for pleasure and discarded like the rubbish of yesterday's trash.
What a teacher.
Dumb devils. Wise Satan. Now the whole culture is gone to sex and madness and madness. Hip hop started in the South Bronx with young black men using the art form of the spoken word to transmit knowledge in a beautiful way of rhyme.
That's right.
And they were making money out of the trunk of their cars selling their records. Public Enemy was not produced by mass recording studios, KRS-One and all those conscious rappers. Then the money lenders and the corruptors came. They saw money, but they also saw if this rap continued in consciousness, the whole nation of black people would be awakened, particularly the youth. They know that our young people are the strongest generation that we have ever produced, so they must break the youth from the elder and then corrupt the youth.
Teacher.
So the money lenders, wise Satan, just diverted rap from conscious rap to gangster rap, and then glorified the gun and the most vile aspect of black ghetto life. And then they took over all the radio stations. They belong to corporate America now. And the whole object of the radio stations have been no talk. So conscious talk, where you could listen to programs on the radio that would enlighten the community, warn the community, teach the community. Now it's, I want to get in your pants. I want to do this. I want to love you all night long. And oh, baby, you show 24/7. Then it's the gangster rap. I put a cap in you. You ain't no gangster. You's a wankster. And then glorifying beefs between one black artist and another, east against west, north against south. It's black against Puerto Rican. So when Fat Joe talks about lean back, now there's a beef with Fat Joe and 50 Cents, and we keep going, and our posses get involved in our madness, and even if we don't hurt each other, our posses begin to hurt each other, and the funeral parlors fill up, and the money on the rich man's coffers build up, and we become instant millionaires, calling our women bitches and whores. Dumb devils, wise Satan. Now, brothers and sisters, my teacher one day told me, son, he said, you can't fathom the depth of Satan. And when he told me that, I went home and studied it, and I knew that I was not qualified to handle Satan if I couldn't fathom his depth. He is so wise and artful in his ability to deceive and manipulate and take you off your course, that he even pledged to God in the Quran that he would come after the people of God right in the straight path of God, and he would make them all deviate. So we have Christian deviance, Muslim deviance, Jewish deviance, for Satan has come right in the straight path of God, right in the revelation that God sent down to reform the people, to transform their lives. They read a word, they hear a word, they sing the songs, but they go out and act in the same way. Dumb devils, wise Satan. Now here's how wise Satan is. America wanted the Spaniards out of the Western Hemisphere. The Spanish controlled Cuba. The Spanish controlled Puerto Rico. The Spanish controlled the Hawaiian Islands. How do you get them out? Well, let's propose that an American ship is blown up, killing American people on that ship, and we blame it on the Spanish as a predicate for war. And then we take what the Spaniards have and kick them out of the Western Hemisphere in the name of the Monroe Doctrine. Now follow me, brothers and sisters. Americans blew up that ship called the Maine, killed Americans, blamed it on the Spanish, and the Spanish-American War was fought, and Cuba became the playground. Puerto Rico and the Hawaiian Islands became the possessions of the United States of America. And if you have read when John F. Kennedy was the president of the United States and Fidel Castro overthrew Batista in Cuba and took over Cuba, the playground was lost. Now the question is, how do we get it back? And I have read that some of the members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said to President Kennedy, suppose we blow up a ship in Guantanamo Bay and say the Cubans did it as a predicate for war.
That's right.
John Kennedy turned it down. But look at the mind that would suggest something like that. Hitler did this. He burned the Reichstag in Germany. And then when that government building was burned, it was blamed on others. Then Hitler rose to power and then put into practice some draconian laws that gave him power to dictate to the German people. That's real. That's the mind of Satan. In 2000, Gore ran against Bush, and Gore lost, not because he lost the popular vote. He lost to a conservative Supreme Court. So on the way to his inauguration, when you usually play Hail to the Chief, people were holding up signs saying, Hail to the thief. And the country was greatly divided up to September the 10th. There was no unity among Democrats and Republicans up to the 10th of September 2001. September the 11th, the towers fell. Now you tell me how some airplanes flying into the towers, fully loaded with fuel, could burn the steel to such a point where the building would come straight down like you see buildings when they are imploded with bombs or dynamite on columns here and there. 3,000 people dead. Who the hell cares if the country could be united behind their president and the treasure of the taxpayers could be raped to feed the military industrial complex, and a war could be manufactured? That's the mind of Satan. And we are the dumb devils that are deceived and don't know what's going on. Those terrible Arabs did this to us. They didn't know anything the day before. But 2 days later, pictures of 19 Saudis or 17 Saudis, 19 Arabs came up on television. They knew so much 3 days after, but they knew nothing the day before. Come on, brothers and sisters. Then they now say they did know something, but this agency didn't tell that agency, didn't tell this agency. So nobody in intelligence, that's what intelligence is all about, connected the dots. So when President Nixon was being impeached and tried, the prevailing question was, what did you know? And when did you know it? Now, if all these people knew something before, but they just didn't connect the dots, and they allowed that to go. But isn't it strange? The two towers were hit, but all three of the buildings came down. There was another small building. It came down. And nobody said nothing. And the man that owned it collected billions of dollars from insurance. People in the stock market became rich because they knew something and sold off their stock in American and United Airlines. And they tell me there were some rabbis on a roof nearby that were dancing, happy when they saw the building go down. And then the enemies of Israel could be attacked and destroyed using the most powerful army of the most powerful nation in the world. Oh, brothers and sisters, we have been greatly deceived. And the greatest deception of all, may I tell you? The most important man in the scriptures of the Bible is Jesus. There is no being more important in the eyes of God than that man, Jesus. In the Holy Quran, which is the book of scripture of the Muslims, and in Muslim traditions, the Muslims are not looking for anyone to return except Jesus. And he would be with the Mahdi when the Mahdi or the guide came. Now watch this. The most important woman in the Quran is Mary, the mother of Jesus. She's more important than the mother of Abraham, Moses, Muhammad himself. More important. Why is Mary so important that the angels were arguing with each other as to who would have charge over Mary? You got it? Jesus is so important because as Messiah, please hear, this is near the end. As Messiah, he has powers given to him that belong only to God. In the Quran, God is the life giver. That's one of his attributes. He's the raiser of the dead. He is the author of truth. He is the light. The Quran says of the Messiah that he would determine out of dust the form of a bird and breathe into it, and it would become a bird by God's permission. He would open the eyes of the blind, make the deaf hear and the dumb speak, and raise the dead to life by God's permission. When you see a man born of a woman that has that kind of power, then God is present in that man to work on behalf of God for the benefit of all human beings. So if you are Satan and you've made a world of dumb devils and have deceived the whole world, when Jesus comes, that is the end of Satan's world. Because if you read the scriptures, he's casting out demons out of the people. And the demons, as they were coming out, they were cussing Jesus. Then what are you doing? Messing with us before time. Well, he was on time. Well, if the Jesus that you love has come, how could you be a dumb devil in his name if you were truly touched by the word of Jesus the Christ? We have been deceived about the most important being, because he reconciles the human back to God, and he raises the human being to the position that God intended for us in the beginning. And in the Quran, that position is Khalifa, one who stands in the place of God and rules God's creation by God's permission. And the Bible said he created the man and the woman, male and female created he them, and called their name Adam, and they were made in the image and the likeness of God. Now look at what has happened to that which was made in the image and likeness of God. We have become dumb devils under the deceptive work of the arch-deceiving Satan. We didn't benefit from 9/11. President Bush did. The American people did not benefit from 9/11. the war machine did. The Iraqis now have cost the taxpayers of America, the war, $340 billion, and there's no end in sight. Nobody asked the question, where are we going to get the money from to fight the war? But when Katrina struck, the Congress is saying, where are we going to get the money from? Poor President Bush. He was so messed up, he had to bring T.D. Jakes with him to kind of wipe his backside, clean him up some. Let an anointed man of God stand next to a criminal. Now wait a minute, before you say that I'm off base, I ask a question to those listening and listening by radio. Did the president and his cabinet lie that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? Did they lie to the American people?
Yes, sir.
Now, question. Did they know they were lying? It has now come out that they already had a policy to go to war with Iraq, so they doctored the intelligence to fit the policy and then used Colin Powell. Because he would be believable to sell a lie and start a war. And thousands of young Americans are dead and dying and wounded by roadside bombs, their legs, their arms destroyed, their faces twisted. They are there in an atmosphere where bombs have been dropped that are filled with depleted uranium, and they're breathing that atmosphere, coming back home with different kind of diseases that they don't have an antibiotic for those bacteria. Lord have mercy.
Yes, sir.
That's a high crime and a misdemeanor for which the whole government should be set down. What did you know and when did you know it? And now in the wake of Katrina, it's all laid bare. America doesn't care for the poor. Bush and Kerry campaign, not one of them mentioned the poor. Now the poor are in the face of the world. This is not Darfur. This is not Rwanda. This is not Bosnia. This is the United States of America.
How much time? 20 minutes. But in 5 minutes,
okay,
we can do that.
Go ahead, man.
So this is why we have to create a movement that ties together all black organizations, all our churches. We have to now focus on lifting our people from the valley of the shadow of death and lift them together. And this is why the Millions More movement is designed to tie the learned of our people to the struggle of the masses through a program that will allow their talent, their skills to be used to lift all of our people. But the moment I called, President called pastors and told them that they should not be a part of a movement that would save our people. don't walk with Farrakhan.
That's right.
Yes. But please, brothers and sisters, you walk with me. If you know that what we are proposing is right, then you rise. You stand. Let's create a movement that will save our people. It's not Muslim, Christian, it's all of us together. For the flood doesn't give a damn whether you're a Muslim or Christian. Both houses were drowned out. So I'm asking all of you that are present, please mobilize in Houston.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Not only for the day of,
Yes, sir.
but for the day after. We need buses filled with black men and women, brown men and women, Native American men and women, poor men and women. Let us go to Washington.
That's right.
And say to the government, that we are intending to repair the damage done by 300 years of chattel slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow and lynching, and 50 years of governmental abuse of our leaders and our organizations working for our repair. We're going to take that responsibility on our shoulders, and whether you help us or not, God says He will help us if we do what He has asked. Now watch the covenant that we have to change, brothers and sisters. We got to stop being dumb devils and start becoming the body of the Christ. Now watch. The scripture says of the Quran, Allah, God, will never change the condition of a people until they change within themselves. So the change is not on the president, the change is not on the government, the change has to come from us. But look at how the Bible puts it. If my people, which are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then, he says, will I hear from heaven, forgive their sins, and heal their land. Do we need a healing? Does America need a healing? Does the world need a healing? Then we gotta stop being dumb devils and turn from our wicked ways so that God will forgive our sins and heal our land. Thank you for listening, and may God bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Now that is Mr. Farrakhan for you. Tell me down in the comment section what you think about this. And if you're watching us for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and also share. Thank you, and may the good Lord bless you. Goodbye.